Amid the numerous rallies and protests against President Trump's travel ban, there was one group of people in Maine that had actually gathered together to defend the president. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of pictures here. One of them is the turnout for this pro-Trump rally, and let me tell you guys, it is huge. Let's take a look at this picture. Holy crap. That is kind of sad. Oops. Okay. Now, this rally, of course, was organized by William Hall. Now, William Hall is a big Make America Great Again guy. So, big Trump supporter. Now, he said that this rally was a way to support Donald Trump's immigration ban. According to Maine's WGME news station, Hall and several other people at Saturday's gathering said, hey, man, although we don't agree with everything Donald Trump does or says, they think that this ban on immigration from 7 different Muslim-majority countries happens to be the thing that America needs. We needed to do this. We got to stop these Muslims from coming in until we can figure out what the hell was going on. Now, Hall says, quote, we need to do better background checks on immigrants coming into this country. We have borders for a reason. Having open borders is like having a home without walls, plain and simple. So let me break that down, right? This guy thinks that we have open borders. Well, that's incorrect. We actually don't have open borders. And in fact, our vetting process for immigrants, especially refugees, is actually some of the strictest in the world. For the refugee program itself, it takes at least 18 months for us to properly vet refugees for entry. So they don't step foot on American soil for at least 18 months and sometimes much longer. So already this guy says, oh yeah, we don't have borders. We don't have borders anymore. And you heard Donald Trump during the campaign. We don't have borders anymore. Our country doesn't have borders. We don't have any sort of border enforcement. The Mexicans, they're flooding over the border, the illegals. That's not true. There's actually no factual information that backs this up. So this guy, I mean, literally is not properly informed. And so I'm sitting here and I'm reading this and I'm thinking, this guy's actually convinced that he's doing the right thing. Like, he's actually on the right side. Like, I'm just trying to protect my country from the illegals that are flooding in. But that's not true. He's not basing anything on factual information. The whole assumption is based on nothing but lies. We actually do have border security, and our border security is pretty damn good. It's so good that we actually have net zero immigration from Mexico. And now that Donald Trump is president, it's likely more people are actually going to be leaving. And by the way, a lot of Trump supporters aren't actually aware of this, and I'm surprised. But there are a lot of people, a lot of our undocumented or illegal immigrants, they actually fly here, get jobs on work visa programs, and then overstay their visas. And once their work visa is expired, well, they don't go back to their own country. They just stay here and become undocumented immigrants, illegal immigrants. It's not like floods and hordes of people going over the border. That actually is not what happens. It's mostly, again, people who came here legally in the first place, but then their visas and stuff expired. So again, there's a lot of people that don't actually understand what the real problem is when it comes to illegal immigration. And it's really hard to find out the exact numbers of people who came there that way, who came here that way, and who are still here through that system, through work visas. But again, this guy is just, he doesn't seem like a bad person. He's just incredibly uninformed. And you can blame that with the media. You can blame that, of course, on Trump and alternative facts, all that stuff. But again, he's uninformed like unfortunately, a lot of average working people. Now, here's the fun part, right? Now, you saw the gigantic crowd that was gathered. There was like 8 people. Now, this happened on Saturday night. It's not like people were busy at work. Yes, there are a lot of people who do work the weekends, the weekend warriors, but mainly, if it's Saturday night, generally people aren't working for the most part. Now, the reason that I bring that up is that there's this conservative narrative, right? That protests, well, the protesters, they can show up, the liberal protesters, because they don't work. They don't have jobs. They don't have responsibility. That's why they're all protesting everywhere. And so conservatives don't have giant protests, even though they say that they represent the American people and they outnumber all the liberals, which isn't actually true, of course. More people are starting to identify as liberal compared to conservative. So that's fun, especially younger people. And yes, younger people do work. So it kind of defeats that whole narrative. But for this, Saturday night, where people are generally off, where are the conservatives? Where are these people? Why were there only 8 people in Maine? Where were all the working Trump supporters? Now, I do want to compare this to the counter demonstration at Monument Square, happened in the same place several days ago. These were anti-Trump protesters. Let's take a look at that here. And there's the counter protest. Oops. Protest. Counter protest. It was estimated that there were 1,500 protesters against the immigration ban. But the pro-Trump protesters, there were only 8 of them. Sad. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.